Hey Cyrus, how you
Well,
going,
good
brother?
morning. I'm good, man. I like that we are the blurred background brothers today.
Totally, man.
Our bookshelves look similar. I like it.
Dude, mate, this morning before I had to get jump on this interview, I had to like, there's all kid stuff usually that's like, there's drawings and I'm like, get out of the way,
Oh,
you know?
you don't want to see what's off frame in my studio, office, utility room, everything. I have some picture frames literally on the floor next to. You can see some of them. Where are they? Oh, right there. I can't do it. Wherever it is,
That's
over
all
my
good,
shoulder,
man.
right there. There you go.
Yeah.
This yeah, this thing
You-
being backwards. So everything.
Man, you do what you got to do, brother. We'll get into it, man, because unfortunately I've only got 15 minutes with you this morning, so I want to try and get as much information out of you as possible, brother. So thanks so much for joining us on Hard Rock Rewind. We'll get straight into it. You guys obviously releasing now. I can't figure out, it's either going to be number 11, 12, or 13th album. Which one is it? When you compile them with covers and the Christmas album and whatnot, is it 13 or
No,
12?
if you do the covers and Christmas album, I don't have a count. But this is what I've been telling everybody. When we go to record a record, we don't usually know the
Yeah,
title. So nowadays,
yeah,
the hard drive or whatever has a folder, and we called it, I
yeah.
think, LP 11. So let's just say that.
It's 11. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So it's Listen Up. It's coming out in Feb 20. First question is, I'm curious, given the state of the music industry at the moment, there's so much, our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. People are gearing more to singles, streaming, trying to get songs on streaming or playlists and whatnot. When you guys decided to write new music for what was this album, was there any temptation to actually go, why don't we just do singles and drip feed singles down the track? Or was it always, no, let's do another album?
It's funny you mentioned that because overall, we're an albums band, right? That we came from
Mm,
that era when people had, a full record, whether it was CD or cassette or whatever that you flipped and all that. We still consider that, although we know that that's a dying breed. But
mm,
ironically, with this record, if you know like the history of this record,
mm.
100%, which is on this record, was released as a single, I think, well over a year ago. And the reason
Yeah.
why was that was recorded on its own, or it was recorded with our Part of Your World Disney cover, but it was in its own
Mm,
sessions. And then we went back to do the rest of this record. So,
right.
ironically, for this record, we did record a single first. And it was because we had that song, we had that riff, and we had extra
Yeah.
studio time that don't tell Disney they paid for. But we had the extra studio time. And it's like, we're going to have Steve Evans working on this, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's done some of our records. We have Neil Avron mixing this, and we have the time. Let's do it and let's see what it sounds like. And we did, and we're like, this is good. This is really good, and this sounds heavy, and this is exactly what we would like our next record to sound like. So all we did is
Yeah.
we called the whole team again and said, let's find a couple weeks to go in. Let's go and write some more songs, and we'll just do the same thing we did for 100%, and we put the rest of the record together. So it was kind of a hybrid approach here. But yeah, I mean, we're an album band.
Awesome. Just on that point, I watched Dale, my co-host, who was unable to join us today. He sent me an Insta reel of Andrew Stockdale, singer from Wolfmother, actually putting out a question to people, and he was saying, I'm writing a new album, but I'm curious. Aside from the singles we might put out, is is anyone going to listen to the album tracks? And what I'm getting is not so much is anyone not going to listen, but are you guys mindful, once again, along the same lines of that question I just asked before, when you're writing some songs for the album and you probably know that we might not play these ones live, is it tough to write those songs and go, we're pumped to put them on the album, but realistically, we might not even play them once? Or are you always like, no, we want to try and play at least, some of these songs once or twice at least?
I mean, again, it's one of those where it's hard to kind of like set a rule for that, except that
Yeah.
we write songs that we love. And when we go to write songs, we play them together as a band. So there's not really ever a song that we like record and then go, oh, yeah, we can't play that, And that being said, we also, with records, we try to, at least recently in the last, let's say, 5 or 10 years, you
Mm,
go in with kind of a bunch of songs. Everybody says you have your entire life to write your first record, and then you have a year or two after that to write each record, right? And so it's a snapshot of a couple years, and it's like whatever kind of riffs we have going on. What we usually do is as we're starting to craft these songs and let's say
mm,
writing sessions or a lot of times back in the day, it was a sound checks, and it's not so much anymore because Chad unfortunately can't be with us all the time touring.
Yeah.
But you know, we were there as myself and Ian and Chad and upstairs in Chad's house for about a week and a half, going through the riffs that Chad had. And it's like you start to get a feeling for what this record could be. And even musically, you can kind of craft it. And it's like you do a couple songs and maybe you realize, oh, this one riff kind of sounds like this other riff. So maybe that's not, we don't explore that. And then it's like, well, we have this one riff that's so different. And it's like, let's try to make sure we do that so that you have some variety, because we are a band that tries to, no matter how much everybody's like, with Jordan on it, it sounds like Newfound Glory. And it does.
Yeah.
It's like we try on every record to have a song that might be a little slower. Maybe one on this record, you know, we have one or two songs that have keyboards. We have, you know, lyrically, we have songs that are different and all that. So there is an effort to try to see if we can put together a group of songs that overall sounds the same or maybe is somewhat thematically related, but at the same time is diverse enough where if you don't really like heavy stuff, great, you still have something you'll like. Or if you like the faster stuff, we will have one or two things like that. You know, it's diverse enough that people, any kind of Newfound Glory fan, could hopefully appreciate at least part of this record.
Yeah, man, I really dug it. I was listening to it again last night in preparation for the interview. And look, personally, I love all music. I'm probably more one who leans to more sort of heavier stuff. But there was a couple of songs I was really like, really blown away by that. Had some, like, I think, namely, what was it? It was Boom Roasted, A Love Story, and 100% Even. They had very much these like metal riffs that combined with the pop punk element. I thought that was really cool. Like it sounded like in major keys, but had those like sort of almost Metallica-like type sort of riffs over the top, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying something about Love Song. That's a song that I gravitated towards very early on in the writing process, and I won't name names, but we did have some doubters, I think, with that song. I thought it was good for us because it was a little more straightforward than maybe some of our other material, but it works for me. And ironically, or not ironically, but a kind of a cool little caveat with that song. You might have heard us mention that with the writing of this material, it was myself, Ian, and Chad in a room writing a lot of the music. Jordan is omitted from that conversation because at the time he was in Japan on a family vacation that had been planned for years, and you know, just schedules didn't work out. But he wanted to be a part of it, obviously, because we've always all been a part of it. What Ian came up with, which was a great idea, was he heard that Jordan had this journal he had been keeping of just random things, thoughts, sayings, stuff like that. And he convinced Jordan to give it to Chad. And so after we had put together these skeletons musically of songs, Chad sat down with Jordan's journal and pulled things. And a love song is directly derived from most stuff in Jordan's journal. There's a lot of stuff directly out of Jordan's journal in that. So he literally indirectly wrote that song without, you know, being 10,000 miles away from us, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, that's a special song for me. Yeah.
No, it's great, man. There's also another one that's, I guess, given the resurgence of like all these bands from the 2000s, you know, pop punk, emo, whatever you want to call it. It seems like it's just, man, the wave's happening again. Definitely Laugh It Off, I found had really, really nostalgic 2000s vibe to it. Definitely the sound, the vibe, the key of the song. That was another one that I really liked as well. Yeah, great song, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, you got you have really good observations here. You know, "Laugh It Off" was a song that Chad and myself, and I think even Ian, as we were writing the music, were like, "This sounds like a single." And I'm an analytical guy. I think it's because I'm a drummer. That's just the way the way we are. I was like, I know why, and Chad agreed, and he mentioned it as well. It's the key of the song. It's because it's minor and it goes to major. And a lot of people are like, you shouldn't do that to music. Music is art. You just do whatever feels right. And in my mind, well, that was already, you know, we did that because we wanted to do that, but it also lifts the chorus and the chorus goes major. And we have another song that's like that. Not that this was any influence at all, but ironically ends up the same. And it's a song that nobody's ever heard of called "All Downhill From Here." And it does the same thing. It's a minor verse and pre-chorus, and then it goes major in the chorus and just brings it to this, you know, it gives you a feeling, right? So "Laugh It Off" is kind of similar to that with a really cool guitar riff. And yeah, I think we're really proud of how that song came out. We love the video for that. We've been playing it live and it's going off. And yeah, that's going to be a staple, I think, for a while in our set.
Totally, man. Great song. I'm curious also, you guys are obviously, you know, huge name in the industry and in your scene. this is the first album on your brand new label, Pure Noise Records.
Yeah.
I'm curious, now that the day and age, once again, so many bands can do things DIY. I'm curious from your take, being a band that's, obviously at your disposal, could do things pretty much in-house. What do you still find the benefits are of being signed to a label and putting music out through a label?
Great question. I think for us, we have been fortunate, at least with their last couple labels we worked with, we found partners. We found people that understand who we are, and more importantly, probably how we got to where we are. And so they're willing to work with us. And it's not just where most people would think, oh, record label, great. They throw money at you. They tell you how to dress. They tell you what they're going to do. And that's it. No, these people come in and there's a respect because they know that we are a band that's been around a lot longer than, in some cases, most of their roster. And it's like, we are all going to work together. We're going to come to the table with tons of ideas. They're going to have ideas. And we reach out to them because they have things that we can't do. Namely, they have probably marketing stuff we can't do. Maybe their roster and the reach is a little different than what we've had. And so Pure Noise is a great, great, great partnership that we have here, where we feel the support from them. I know they feel it back from us. And we're very excited to have this record finally come out. We've had this record recorded for almost a year now. So everybody's been sitting on this, just waiting for it to come out. And we're seeing what they can do. Just they're really good at what they do. They're really good at pushing things. And there is a definite hype going on with this album.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Final question before we have to run out, unfortunately, Cyrus. Long term, man, like, where do you guys see us? Do you guys have like an end game for Newfound Glory, or is it just a matter of like, we'll just see what happens, what comes up, year by year, month by month, whatever the time frame is?
Yeah, I don't think we want to think about end game. For us, live shows rule, and of course, making records are great because that's the tool to be able to go on tour. But I just want to keep playing because you can't match the endorphins that you get from stepping in and the adrenaline from stepping out on a stage. And so I think for us, we've always just said we're going to keep doing it until it's not fun anymore. And maybe as we get a little advanced in years, it's not going to be, we're not going to do, we'll do it until it's not fun. We're going to do it until we literally physically can't, I guess, right? I might be one of the first ones to go. If I start slowing down too much, people might say it's time to hang it up. And I hope we don't get to that point, but you never know. So ask me that again in like 10 or 20 years, and maybe I'll have a different answer.
Awesome, man. Dude, thanks so much for your time today, guys. Brand new album coming out for them, Feb 20. Listen up. I'm assuming it's going to be across all streaming platforms and everywhere where you get your music from. Cyrus, once again, man, all the best with it, and hopefully we see you in Australia soon.
Oh, you will. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks so much, man. Have a good one.